Hello guys, I'm Fizzy and welcome to another Project Cars League Race video. It has been a while since the last one and I do apologize for that. But here we are on for the third race of the first season of the AOR GT3 Elite League on the PC version of Project Cars. And here at Watkins Glen, a very interesting track, one that I quite enjoy driving actually. One of them quite familiar with from iRacing. I've been driving it quite a few times in the Star Mazda car on iRacing, where this chicane that I'm going to right now is not present on the layout I've usually been driving, so that's a new little tricky part of the track to get used to. Usually that long straight goes straight into this right-hander here, but the rest of the track is the same that I'm used to, so I was familiar with the layout going into this race, and obviously I had done a little bit of practice as well. So we are currently in the practice session, not in the practice session, we are currently in the qualifying session, about to set, well, we are following the lap that ended up being my best of the session. You can see right now in the bottom left, it is just under 5 minutes to go in the session. I am currently P8, as I'm trying to improve, but a few tenths up on my previous lap, and yeah, didn't really know what to expect going into this race. It's the same as with every GT3 race, I don't really know what my pace is compared to the rest of the guys in the league, so I'm not really sure what to expect. I just turn up with a bit of practice and try to do the best that I can with the car that I've got. And usually, well, at least based on the previous race at Spa, my qualifying pace tends to be better than my race pace. And here we go. What is the time going to be? It's going to be 1:42.6, and that was actually good enough to put me up to P4 on the grid, which I was really happy with actually. Did not expect to be that high up, and you can see at the top there Brownski with an absolutely dominant lap, 0.8 of a second ahead of second placed Ownage, and then Arvina in the lead at McLaren starting in third. I'm obviously driving the McLaren 12C GT3 car as well, while the top two are in the BMW Z4 and the Aston Martin V12 Advantage respectively. But here we go for the lights. We're going to jump straight into the race, and it's been a horrible launch for me once again, just like at Spa. I have not managed to learn from my mistakes at the starting procedure. Clearly hadn't practiced it enough still, and I have dropped 1 or 2 places, in fact 2 places down to 6th place before the first corner in fact, so not ideal, but we're just gonna have to try and make those places back up really. If I can, that is. I'm not expecting my race pace to be as good as the qualifying pace as I mentioned, because with this car to do one stopper rather than a 2-stopper, I am having to use the medium tire compound instead of the soft. So that son of Moore has gone off at the chicane. He has made a mistake, so I managed to get back one of the places that I lost at the start. Not good for a son of Moore, but good for me. I'm not going to complain about that. Obviously he is one of my several teammates in the McLaren, so I'm not really liking to see my fellow McLaren drivers spin off. But hopefully I didn't hit the wall, I can still continue on. But here we go, a little bit of a gap has formed ahead of me because of that. So Meza is the car up ahead, so let's see if I do have any pace to keep up with him. We have quite a train just behind me now. You can see on the minimap there is loads of cars in the train close behind me. Unfortunately, Poppleton has disconnected, so we're down to 18 drivers now left in the race. And yeah, like I mentioned with the McLaren, I am having to run the medium tires because, well, actually, yeah, this race took place quite a while ago before the patch that changed the tire wear of the GT3 cars came out. So at this point, we were still running the ×7 setting to basically force everyone to have to pit at least once during the race because of tire wear, basically. And the McLaren is pretty hard on the tires, so I couldn't get that to work with the soft tires to do one stop. So I'm having to use the medium tires, and there's at least a 0.5 difference between the tire compounds, probably even more to be honest. So it's not really ideal compared to some of the other cars that can run one stopper on the softs. And just in case anyone's wondering what I meant by the ×7 setting, it is that basically the tire wear, the default tire wear, is accelerated by 7 times in the settings that we're running. But look at that, there's quite a bit of battling going on up ahead for second place there, and they were starting to pull a bit of a gap, and oh, there's a car in the wall as well. That is Arvina in the McLaren, who was spun off into the wall and gifted me 4th place, and that looked like a pretty heavy shunt, so he will probably have to go back to the pits for repairs, I am pretty sure. So as it was looking like the top 4 was kind of breaking away, and for me to have to settle for a P5 at best maybe, I have been gifted the 4th place, so we're up a little bit. But as I was gonna say, the car behind was putting pressure on me now, and he spins off as well. Man, that was Canisby, I believe, in the well, I don't know what car he's driving actually, I can't remember, but he spun off as well, so that's definitely eased the pressure on me a bit. And there's now one car not too far behind, that is Jay, which man, we've been gifted another position. That was Macy spinning off as well. What is going on this lap? 3 cars spinning off and gifting me positions. I'm now up to P3 in the race somehow, with Onage the next car ahead, but he's over 5 seconds up the road though. So man, I haven't pulled off any overtaking moves yet, but I have gained 3 positions within a short space of time. And now we have Jay just behind, which I was gonna say is more known in the YouTube community as a Riot Box. And he's now putting a lot of pressure on me. Going into this corner, I decided to go a little bit offensive to just make sure that he couldn't get a move on me there. And he's actually driving the Mercedes, which is seen as a bit of a dog in the corners, but very fast on the straight. You can see him gaining on me there, looking a little bit to the inside, but it looks like he decided to back away from it. And yeah, thanks to those spinners, it's looking really good for me in this race now actually. 3rd place with a J just behind, and then there's a nice little gap to the next car. But Onage was starting to pull quite a gap, but now there is something weird going on, because Onage seems to be really slowing down. You can look on the distance timer in the bottom left that we are catching rapidly on Onage now, coming onto this straight. And I really was not sure whether he was having some kind of problem at this point, or if he was actually, yeah, just don't know. But here we go, he's already pulled off to the side and let both me and Jay pass. So you know, I was thinking surely he has some kind of problem with his wheel or with his car, has got damage. I'm not really sure, but now he seems to have sped up again a bit. I mean, he's following Jay now, and Onage obviously a really fast guy. So I'm not sure what to think, as Jay has actually gone into the pit lane back there, and I do believe he had a bit of an issue in the pits. So my main worry now has to be Onage, who seems to have gotten well, his normal speed back again after being really slow on that lap for some reason. And he's right at the back of me now, and we know how quick he is. I mean, he's obviously the well, he's been a top driver in the AOR F1 leagues on the PC platform. He is driving other race sims like FSR and winning races there as well, and based on qualifying as well, clearly has the pace on me. So for him to be right at the back of me now is a little bit intimidating. And I mean, if he actually does not have any problems with the car, his car, then I was not really too confident of keeping him behind, but I was certainly not going to gift him the position. I mean, even though I believe he's faster, I'm not going to make it easy for him to get past. As you can see, I'm defending the inside line here, coming up to the chicane, which is the corner where you do not really go side by side, so I managed to cover off the inside and make sure I stayed ahead there. Also important to note at this stage that we are on lap 12, so coming towards the halfway point of the race, and that means that the tires are in the stage where they are kind of starting to drop off a bit. I mean, I'm planning to do one stopper, pitting around the midway point of the lap, the race, I mean. So that'll be around lap 17. As I'm now gonna have to look in my mirrors, seeing Onage get closer in every corner. And here we go, he's pulling to the inside here. Is he gonna do a dive bump? Remains to be seen. I'm just trying to hit my normal braking point. Run a little bit too wide there, maybe get put off a little bit by him kind of putting himself very much in my mirrors towards the inside, but I managed to stay ahead still for now. And I feel like I'm really holding on the job, because like I said about the tires, this car is hard on tire wear, and when you come towards the end of the stint of these tires, you are really feeling it through the force feedback of the wheel, at least with the settings that I'm running. The wheel is kind of starting to shake a bit, especially at high speed. And here again comes Onage, looking to the inside into turn 1 now on lap 13, but once again backed out of it. But I have missed the apex a little bit there, and a little bit of oversteer on the exit as well. And here comes Onage, he has got a much better exit, and that was a bit tight. I believe I kind of lifted off a little bit there to just let him go through. I wasn't really confident in going side by side up through that corner. I felt like that was a bit too much of a risk, especially as he got the better run out of the corner anyway, so probably would have passed me even if I tried to hang it in there, and I would have risked the crash, of course. So now it'll be interesting to see if I can actually manage to hang on to the back of Ownage at least. Maybe try to use his slipstream to my advantage and maybe learn something from the lines he's taking through the corners. Although these two cars obviously not the same to drive, so you know, his lines won't necessarily be the same as mine, although of course racing lines are pretty standard stuff across most of the cars. And as you can see, I got it quite close to him at the end of a few straights, but never really close enough to him to make it pass. So I mean, I wasn't really expecting to battle Ownage, to be fair, in this race, because he qualified ahead and he is a faster driver generally than me, but now he has made a mistake and he's gone into the wall there. It looked like he got a tire on the outside curb coming out of the penultimate corner, and then kind of got spit out on back onto the track and into the wall. And as we now skip a couple of laps further on, you can see that Ownage has actually left the session. So either he got quite a bit of damage from that hit with the wall, or maybe he just wasn't motivated to continue in the race. I'm not really sure. But either way, well, we have kind of won the battle against Ownage, even though it wasn't really on pace. It was because he made a mistake and then either got disconnected or left. But you can see now at the end of lap 17, I went into the pits, not filling any fuel in the car because that takes quite a bit of time. I did start with a tank, well, full tank of fuel that would take me for the entire race, but I changed all 4 tires. And speaking of tires, there seems to be a tire laying around on the track there as well, on the exit of turn 1. But we have rejoined the track in P3. I wonder if there is one car that hasn't pitted ahead of us still. I do believe there is, because the car ahead in second is Brownski, who was leading. But we are now very much under pressure from Martin van der Bent, who qualified quite far down, actually way out of the position compared to where he's been in the first 2 races. And now he has outbraked me going into the chicane. A very beautiful move by him. Maybe, well, he was clearly a bit more confident than me on the brakes there, and he went round the outside into the chicane to take 3rd place. And this guy, I believe Martin van der Bent finished in 3rd in both of the first 2 races, so he's also a really quick guy. And another one who I wasn't really expecting to battle in this race. Obviously quite a shock that he qualified just like 9th or wherever it was. But you can see that I'm now back up to P3, so whoever was, well, whoever hadn't pitted a few laps ago now has. But we now have another car right at the back of me. That is Jeppa, who I had a few coming togethers with, well, a few nudges with in the first race at Road America, and he has gotten a much better line through there. I think I felt a little bit of a contact in the back there, and he seems to be driving around with a really damaged front end of his car. I don't really know what that is about, as now I've clearly made a major mistake through the first corner here. We've got another car at the back of us here. We are dropping positions right, left and center, and AJ has now gone past as well. It's not really what I want. Down to P5 now. But then again, well, actually, I just wasn't feeling as confident in the car as I was in the first part of the race. I'm not really sure why, because after the pit stops, my tires are, you know, they're fresh, they're new, I should theoretically be pretty quick at this stage of the race. AJ now has gone a little bit wide through this corner. Maybe I can take the launch, but it doesn't look like it. But yeah, quite frustrating in this stage of the race to drive around and not really feel confident. I was close to hitting a back marker there. Man, really understeered through our corner and nearly hit the back marker. As speaking of not being confident, AJ clearly not confident enough through that corner. He spun it into the wall. I did well to react and not hit him, to be honest. And that is a shame for AJ, as we now got a car in the pit. So Jeppa, who was in P3 and passed me before, he has actually gone into the pit lane. That means that thanks to AJ's spin as well, we are actually back up to P3. And that is quite interesting, because that means that some cars in the race are 2-stopping, clearly, because they clearly couldn't have gone this far without making their first stop. So I'm pretty sure that Jeppa at least has 2-stopped in this race. So that is maybe part of why he seemed to be quite a lot faster when he passed me. He was maybe just feeling like he could push more because, you know, he was pitting one more time, so didn't have to worry that much about the tire wear. And that is really all that happened after the pit stops. And speaking of tyre wear, that was really my concern, a really big concern. Towards the end of the race there, as you can see, the race has been finished. This is the final lap of the race, and there is a car, Maisie, only 1.6 seconds behind, trying to hunt me down, and he has caught quite a few seconds in the last few laps because I was struggling so badly with the tyre wear. My wheel was shaking at high speed because the tyres were feeling so bad, but we managed to hold on by less than a second on Maisie to finish this race in P3 somehow. I mean, I don't know how I managed to do that, to be perfectly honest. I obviously have to thank my qualifying performance for quite a lot on that, and I also have to thank all the cars that spun in the early part of the race to let me get a position. Maisie being one of those, of course, and he nearly caught me back up towards the end, but just about not. And man, after not finishing the first race, after being involved in that spectacular lag incident, of course, at Road America, and then getting 7th in the second race at Spa, after being in last after the first lap, basically. This is quite a turnaround to get 3rd place here at Watkins Glen, not all due to my pace. I mean, I feel like my pace was an improvement over the past 2 races, but obviously taking advantage of other people's struggles was a big part of it as well. But I'm not going to complain about the 35 points, which, as you can see, have moved me way up in the standings now, from 11th up to 6th place, thanks to that result, and only 6 points away from 4th, actually. And you can see Brownski won the race quite dominantly in the end, no surprise there after that qualifying lap he did. And Martin van der Bent got 2nd to move himself up to 2nd in the standings, ahead of Onage, who DNF'd. And here's a quick look at the manufacturers' standings. The top 2 race finishers for each manufacturer scored towards the championship, and obviously I was the top McLaren in this race, so my 35 points definitely counted towards our total, and McLaren now sitting in 3rd in the manufacturers' standings. So that is actually all there is to say about this race at Watkins Glen. It maybe wasn't the most exciting race. I mean, I didn't do too much battling that lasted, several laps with loads of overtakes back and forth. But I feel like my pace was solid for the most part, and I had good fun driving the track, and obviously got a podium in the end to top it off, my first of the season. So a good day in the cockpit overall, and obviously this first season is a very short one, only 6 races, so we are halfway through the season already, 3 races to come, with the next one being at the Nürburgring. So I hope you'll join me for that one as well, and I will see you there. And actually, just finally before I go, the 2nd season of this league has actually just started on AOR, so if you are interested in joining either on the PC or the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One, then you can, because there are still a few spots available in the league, so check out apexonlineracing.com if you're interested, and yeah, maybe I'll see you on the track. Goodbye.